Hey superstars, it's me, Angelina, and today is my birthday! Whoopee! In order to celebrate, I've created a list of behind-the-scenes facts and tidbits about the Roboticals during their development. So, without further ado, let's begin! The title. The first and most interesting of these facts is the title of the series itself, as I had two titles in mind before deciding on calling it The Roboticals. The first original title of the series was going to be The Mechanimals, and I had this idea floating around in my head for a while. Until I realized that there was another cartoon already called Animal Mechanicals. There's yet another children's program called The Pajanimals, which I also noticed some similarities with that title too. So I came up with another name, The Robo Paw Pals. But that title only lasted about a week or so. It just didn't roll off the tongue very well. Finally, I decided to put my two ideas together and ta-da! The Roboticals it was! Now, the remainder of this video will mostly consist of character prototype designs and some facts about them. Prototype 1, the main superstar. If you couldn't tell by now, Sputnik Meccano is the main character of the Roboticals, but her unreleased prototype looks much different than what she does today, as her blue and yellow coloring was swapped. Her eyes were once green, and her bulb was orange at one point instead of red. She was also going to have a more gender-neutral, monotonic voice, but I never really grew attached to it, so she became a girl instead. Her current voice is actually the easiest one for me to perform as of now. Now, every Robotical has a middle name, and these middle names are designed to be a character's alias name if they were to become human one day. So Sputnik's middle name is Delilah. Prototype 2, the daughter of a star. Although Sparky Puff didn't really have a prototype design, his little sister Squeaky Chew Meccano did, however. As you can see, her eyes were once red? Why did I choose a baby to have red eyes out of all characters? I have no idea. Her pink nose and collar were originally blue, and her brown portions of her body were much, much darker. As for her middle name, it's Lilith, which is a slight reference to Lily from the Loud House, even though I don't watch it anymore. Now here's a question for you. For anyone who's seen Piyo Dreams of the World, does Click's early voice sound similar to you? If so, then that's because I was the original voice of Click before I left the series, and my technique for voicing both Click and Squeaky Chew are almost identical. Take a listen. Prototype 3, some fishy color changing. Now, I wouldn't call this one a full-blown prototype design, just a minor color change. Although I am adding this one to the list because I think it's just neat how some of Bubbler's blue portions slightly changed to green over time. Smokester also went through this too, as he flip-flopped from having dark gray fur to light gray fur, then finally back to dark. And even though it isn't shown here, Bubbler Koi was never supposed to have those pearly white buck teeth. But I gave him to him anyway, not only because it's silly, but it's also a slight nod to Timmy Turner from the Fairly Odd Parents. Bubbler's middle name is Charlie, which is both a tribute and the name of my grandmother's best friend. Rest in peace, Grandma. I miss you. Prototype 4. A black cat who's actually lucky? Let's talk about one of the main villains of the Roboticals, Kusho. He was going to have a big patch of circuitry showing on the bottom of his belly, but luckily that was removed, and that choice was made by both Pedro Lopez, Kusho's voice actor, and I. Kusho's original name was Darkness. Kinda lame, isn't it? Yeah, I'm glad I changed that too. Not much else to say about him besides his middle name is Blake. Prototype 5, more out-of-this-world flip-flopping. Now we can't talk about Kusho without his assistant and brother, Eclipse. Eclipse Galacta has a very interesting prototype, as his body color and collar color were swapped. The purple really does suit him better though, considering his whole space theme. Speaking of which, the reason why he's themed like this is because during his creation I was learning about eclipses and ellipses in my science class in school, and Eclipse was going to have a little sister named Ellipse, but that idea was scrapped. In order to make the Roboticals more diverse, however, Eclipse was originally going to be autistic, but I decided to make him non-binary instead. So he doesn't mind what you call him. She, her, they, them, or he, him. It's all okay. One last thing. Eclipse's middle name is Austin. Prototype 6, the Bouncy Brother. The last prototype design that I want to discuss today is Bartholomew Riveteer. His colors were originally going to look identical to his brother Buster, but his colors were flipped and darkened on the fly. I normally don't do last-minute changes like that, but since my orangish marker was running dry by the time I had drawn Bartholomew, I needed to improvise. Now, Buster and Bartholomew aren't identical twins anymore, but still twins nonetheless. Remember when I stated that Eclipse was going to be autistic? Well, that trait got passed down to Bartholomew instead, again, for diversity's sake. Bartholomew's middle name is Jonathan. Fun fact, Bartholomew is one of, if not the only Robotical that likes going by nicknames, such as Barthy or Barth. But for some reason, he doesn't like being called Bart, so don't call him that. Bonus fact, scrapped characters. Remember the blind, broken yellow cat named Saturn? He was gonna have a whole group of friends alongside him called the Solar Baddies for a Robotical mini-movie about Kusho's backstory. But they were all scrapped in the middle of production, as I lost motivation for the project as a whole. These characters will not make a comeback, and they won't be official Roboticals characters anymore, but here they are with their original voice actors. Saturn, being the only one who made the final cut, is voiced by me, obviously. Jupiter was going to be a nerve-wrecked, scatterbrained nerd, who is going to be voiced by Eli from his channel, Little Blue. Fun fact about Jupiter, his orange and brown color palette was given to Betsy as a tribute to him, so that I wouldn't forget him. Mars was going to be a happy-go-lucky, popular girl type of character, planned to be voiced by Bianca, the creator of Piyo Dreams of the World. Neptune was going to be a very dumb, caveman-acting robot, who was going to be voiced by Pedro Lopez. And finally, Venus was going to be a very shy and awkward robot, originally planned to be voiced by yours truly. Venus was going to be the only character who was going to whisper in others' ears instead of speaking out loud, which would have been a reference to Secret Bear, as she did this in the Care Bears films. Well, there you have it. Those were some of the behind-the-scenes facts and details that I could gather in time for my birthday. Now, of course, there are many, many more, but some of them are either just uninteresting, plain obvious, or just smaller details that aren't as important. To be honest, I could talk about the Roboticals for hours with you guys, but I got cake to eat. It's melting. There's presents to unwrap. I can't be here all day. I just wanted to thank you all for any birthday wishes that you happen to give me, and thank you in general for joining the Roboticals on their silly adventures and enjoying them throughout the year. You all mean so much to me, and I appreciate you very much. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye, darlings.